Welcome to our inaugural episode of Ribs, Real Estate, and Ramblings. We are here at Cooper's Old Time Pit Barbecue in Aggie Land, right off of Highway 6 here in College Station. A personal favorite. The owners are great, the Wootens, and they've allowed us to film here. So we've invited you to kind of come along for lunch. Like I said, nobody really ever has a bad conversation sitting over some barbecue, right?
Absolutely true. I mean, that's how I got to know you a lot better, is sitting over and talking over with barbecue. And you called me, you're like, hey, ribs. I said, done, whatever. You didn't have to finish the conversation. And I was like, yeah, man. But no, I'm excited to be here. Thanks.
Yeah, well, thanks for coming on. So this is Adam Drake. And so the idea behind this, and I kind of mentioned it in an intro that we did, is we want to talk to people around the community and just, people that have important jobs or have a presence here.
Well, that's my time. I'm not an important job. No.
Well, we're treading lightly with the first one.
Gotcha.
But so you're the marketing director of the Dixie Chicken Incorporated. So tell
Correct.
me a little bit about what all that entails.
All right, so obviously the Dixie Chicken, everybody knows the Dixie Chicken. There's also the Dry Bean Saloon, Chicken Oil Company, and we just launched a new website that sells all of our merchandise under bottlecapalleytrading.com. And so all the things that we've had on our website for years, everybody's like, well, I don't want Dixie Chicken stuff. I was like, well, cool, here's this. And so we just kind of created, one hub to find everything.
Kind of an umbrella over all of it.
An umbrella for everything. And it's its own complete thing. So nobody's really going to get confused on what Bottle Cap Alley Trading is. And you're not going to the Dixie Chicken to buy dry bean stuff. And it's all just right there.
All right.
And it's real cool that we've partnered with Student Bonfire to sell their merchandise too. And so all that money that people do with their hats and shirts goes right back to Student Bonfire.
That's awesome. Okay, so I looked at your Twitter profile.
Okay.
Because
that could be dangerous.
I realized that of all my Twitter friends and follows, I don't ever really look at their profiles. You don't see what they said about themselves. You just know them, so you follow them, right?
Yep.
Radio guy?
Radio. Does it still say radio guy? I have not changed that out.
Former radio guy, and it even had a link to a Facebook page that no longer exists. But I got to know, what is this former radio guy? What did you do?
So for about 15 years, I was a radio DJ. I started off when I was 19 years old in Beaumont. Sorry. Radio personality is what it's called now. I started that in Beaumont, back in 2001, 2002 or something, right after I graduated high school, and did that for a long time between Beaumont, Natchitoches, Louisiana, which was not my favorite of stops that I did, Nacogdoches, Texas, back to Beaumont. Nowhere. I had so much fun in Nacogdoches, in Lufkin.
Those were unfair name because I do like Nacogdoches.
But it is a fun name to throw out there.
Well, they embrace it.
They do, because you are in the middle of nowhere. Like if I wanted to go to SFA, by the way.
But there's plenty to do.
There's so much. Well, not so much that Jitterbugs burned down, but that's a different story for another time. And then I came here to Aggieland in 2007 and started working for Aggie 96 and fell in love with it here. I came here, I don't know if I've ever told you this, but it's not a secret. I came here as a Burnt Orange fan. And my wife and I had just gotten married a couple of years earlier, and we joked about buying a burnt orange vehicle to come up here because that's how
the worst joke.
It really is, like all these years later. But we moved here and I fell in love.
And we'll look at you.
I drank the Kool-Aid hard, but it was easy to do because this community is so welcoming, it is so inviting, it is so giving, and that was unlike anywhere else I've ever lived. And so when people ask, where are you from? I say College Station, Texas. I've only been here 15 years, not even half my life, but I absolutely love College Station, Texas, Bryan, and calling myself, an Aggieland resident.
Well, and that's really kind of one of the reasons I really wanted to do this show is because there's just so many amazing personalities and amazing people, and I could do this show for 20 years, Lord willing, I guess, but I could do this show for 20 years and not even scratch the surface of, all the people that are in this town. They're just so special, and really some of the great stories in this town of, Aggies helping Aggies,
oh,
and not
man,
just
there's
Aggies,
so
just
many.
the people, the Brazos Valley. So, so I want to keep moving though because I know that you're not bartending until 2 in the morning. You're not that guy for the Dixie
Yeah,
chicken.
no, I'm the office guy. I am. My office hours are over right now, so we're good.
But I know that you still work with it, and I know because you're on Twitter and everyone associates you with the chicken. I'm sure you get a ton of DMs and a ton of messages from people that don't really know you, but for some reason you're the face of the chicken, and for like complaints and all this other stuff. So how do you deal with really trying to separate your personal social media from when, like I know I bombard you, but I mean we're friends, so it's different. But I feel like people, do you get bombarded by random complaints about the Dixie chicken?
Not really, because we're lucky enough to not have a lot of complaints about the Dixie chicken. And my social media profile and my online presence is pretty much who I am anyway. I am a very positive thinker. I am somebody who is always, can we start eating? I didn't know what, okay. All right, cool. I didn't know if you were going to be like.
Let's not talk with food in our mouth.
You'd be like, hey, now we're going to try this. This is a delicacy of trust me, I know the Cooper's delicacies. But no, I am who I am online and in real life too. I'm not going to pretend to be anything that I'm not. I'm a very positive person. I'm very accommodating and welcoming. And if somebody messages me or the Dixie chicken, because I run all our social media pages too, I want to be as helpful to them as we possibly can. And that's one of the things that I fell in love with about the Dixie chicken is we keep it real. We keep everything above board, and we want to make sure whoever is walking into the Dixie chicken or the Dry Bean Saloon or Chicken Oil Company is taken care of as much as we possibly can.
Well, yeah, I guess you don't deal with complaints if you don't get complaints.
Yeah, I mean, not a whole lot.
I've got the 2 sauces here as well if you want to get in on that. See, I asked a question, and once you start talking, I get to eat. That's how this works. So, but be prepared. My questions aren't very long, so too quickly. So even though you're not there on a regular basis and you're not, there on the floor and having to deal with the day-to-day operations, I know you still deal with a ton of it. So this is as an Aggie, this is really specific to being here, in College Station. What's the more stressful of the 3? Is it the game day weekend, which I feel is kind of like a really well-greased wheel at this point? Is it graduation weekend, or is it ring day?
It's game days.
Really?
And really because there are so many of them that, ring day, it's a couple of days here and there, but you don't have the influx of another 200,000 people in town all at the exact same time. So we start getting busy sometimes on a Wednesday before the game, depending on whoever's coming in.
I think we addressed it when I was
Alabama
younger.
fans.
I mean, they don't have jobs, so why not come early, right?
I didn't say that, by the way. I want that on the record, but you're not wrong. No, so we start getting busy Wednesday, Thursday, Fridays, and it's just a lot. Like there are so many long hours, and we open early on Saturdays. So on game days, we're opening up at
even if it's a late kick.
Even if it's a late kick, because there are people who are in town, and we're setting up an outside area. We want everybody to come in and enjoy. And so game days, they're all great. We get through everything really well, but game days are just a little bit more stressful. But I think that's the same way for the entire town, because there's an extra so many thousands of people who are here trying to get on the roads, trying to get from here to there.
Stretch out a little bit more.
Graduation is stretched out.
And ring day, and no offense to the chicken, but ring day generally when it's time to make like dinner plans or plans as a family because everybody came for ring day. Although the chicken's a stop for a beer, right?
Yeah, well,
it's not kind of the final destination or the dinner destination, so I can see where it's a little bit more of a sprawl to ring day reservation.
And game days are all day, like literally the entire day. We're going to be Friday at noon to the end. And I mean, we have people that come in early on Saturday morning at like 9 a.m., 10 a.m., ready to go, and then it just doesn't stop.
Some hard chargers.
At least on the other things, there's a little bit of a break in it. Right. Okay, we can breathe. So it's like that on game days, only when, like 45 minutes before kickoff when people leave and start to walk over the stadium.
Yeah, you do have that lull where everybody's got to get to the stadium. That's fair.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was going to ask you a question about, what's the biggest pain in the butt when you're working with the chicken, and you can't say, the people that get way too intoxicated. But again, you're not there on the day-to-day stuff. So I'm going to ask you this. This is something you can literally ask any Aggie probably, or anyone that's spent enough time in this town. What is your favorite memory of the chicken? Not any of the other companies, the chicken. It could be, while you were up there just going as a patron, or something you got to do. Go.
I've got 3 that immediately popped to mind.
You get one.
The number one, I would have to say was the Dixie Chicken 40th birthday. I was not working at the Dixie Chicken yet. I was working at a radio station, but we were hosting the event.
Radio guy.
Yeah, radio guy. But I've known the women who run the chicken for years, and so they're like, "Hey, we need a little help with this. Can you help us do some booking?" I was like, "Yeah, sure, absolutely." And so it was a really great lineup.
Is this how you ended up getting your job?
I mean, kind of, sort of, because they saw what I could do there, and then that's a whole long story for another time too. But that 40th birthday was just so much fun. Roger Krager and Dub Miller were a part of the lineup. And Dub Miller was singing the Front Porch Song, his version of the Front Porch Song, and he does such a great job of that. And then Katie Jackson, one of our owners, walks up behind me, and I thought she had gone. But as he's getting the part about, well, Don Ganter, let me tell you about him, she's standing right beside me, and then she starts to tear up a little bit. She's like, I just love songs like this, and that people remember my dad.
That's great.
So it's things like that really just stick in my mind. So the 40th birthday was amazing. I absolutely loved it. And 50 is coming up in less than a year now, by the way.
You just keep getting older now.
Yeah.
All right.
Pop my back.
So before we close up,
okay,
one question I have to ask every guest.
Yeah.
You are about to make ribs for the President of the United States or some foreign dignitary. What's your go-to recipe on ribs?
I can throw some stuff in a crock pot, and I mean, that's fine.
Okay, so you're going to a barbecue, so it's not ribs. Okay. What's the side you're bringing?
I am bringing, I really like green beans. I really enjoy green beans. What's that?
Bacon, onions?
100% bacon and 100% onions. And I don't like the ones that will fall apart easily. I like the big fat ones, the big fat green beans.
So that's what I want. I can bring sides to the party guy.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, and drinks. I've always got a cooler of drinks ready to go.
Like you probably have that in the corner. Hey, so Adam, man, I want to thank you so much for coming out. I really appreciate you kind of telling a little bit of story about the chicken, and I'm looking forward to the 50th, right?
Yeah,
and so before we get gone, I'm going to give you about 15 to 30 seconds, and I want you to look square in that camera, and you promote whatever's got coming up, whatever you want. I know you got some new apparel out, so fire away.
Check out bottlecapoutliettrading.com. We talked about it a little bit earlier, but that is our website that we have all of our merchandise on, and we've got some really, really cool things coming up. I can't say exactly what it is, but we've got brand new hats that are going to look really great on everybody, and especially look good for game days.
Great. All right. Well, so again, this has been Ribs Real Estate and Rambling. We're here at Cooper's in Aggieland. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for enjoying a little bit of lunch with us, and we'll see y'all next time.